What's up, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to give you guys a very, very quick update on what's going on with the markets. I'm also going to give you guys my price prediction for what's going to likely pan out for Monday. Just know that I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out my Moomoo link. If you deposit $100, you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed 15 in total, not to mention an 8.1% APY on uninvested cash. The offer ends very soon, in about 6 days from the time you're watching this video. Anyways, let's talk about NIO. So I just wanted to say, guys, I had a bit of a family emergency, and I'm going to be unavailable for the whole weekends to record videos. This video is being recorded Saturday morning, so I do apologize if I can't account for every piece of news that comes out. I'll do my best to be unbiased and talk about the bullish and bearish cases and what the chart is favoring. But please forgive me if there is some kind of news I can't account for, because once again, I won't be available to actually record during the weekend. This video is pre-recorded. So what's happening with the markets? We're holding up very, very nicely as we're seeing buyers defending. And just know that there's not really a whole lot of data coming out. For Monday, we have the Chicago Fed National Activity Index and the Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index at 8:30 and 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then we have the 3 and 6 month bill auctions at 11:30 a.m. Look for some volatility during those times. Besides that, just know it's going to be a very short trading week. We may start off on a high end with some data coming out. When in terms of earnings, we have like Bath and Body Works on Monday before market open, and then after market close, we have Zoom and a few others. More retail on Tuesday. It's going to be the biggest day for retail of the week, and besides that, everything else is going to be more minor. Now, when it comes to other pieces of news, just know this: for Thursday, okay, it's going to be Thanksgiving in the U.S. The stock market is going to be closed completely on Thursday for Thanksgiving, and then for Friday, it's going to have an early close at about 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 hours earlier than usual. So, with that being said, what do I see for the markets? What do I think is going to pan out? Honestly, guys, I think that right now the share price of NIO is looking quite decent as it's forming a nice accumulation. And this was our bullish divergence as we got a breakout here above our 50 EMA. So, just to be clear, I would like to see us retest this 4.8 area. If we lose that, we dip all the way down to 4.7, and then below that, we have 4.5 as our main support. And if we bounce off this, we're looking for a push to fill this gap up above. I presume the most likely case is that we dip a little bit back down to these EMAs, then we start to push higher. And we might try to fill this gap up here as long as we try to break this resistance at this 4.9 area. So 4.9 breaks, I think we pretty much just push for 5.1. That's a nice 20-cent push, which is a pretty big move for a stock that's in, it's worth a couple of dollars. That's a pretty big move. So I anticipate some upsides coming. This looks like the most likely case looking at the setup as we have a nice accumulation. And this might be looking for a nice push to fill that gap. Just to be safe, we'll have to wait and see what happens looking at our data, but that is what's looking very probable. As far as SPY goes, we have an interesting trend where every morning we do tend to kind of like dip, then bounce. At the end of the day, we dip and bounce, dip and bounce. And as of right now, we do look bullish. So it's looking quite bullish right now. I do want to point out that there is a slight rising wedge like structure that's developing. So we could essentially come down to retest this wedge at the 594 area, then try to bounce. And we may continue to squeeze all the way up to about that 598 target. SPY is looking more bullish. However, if we were to turn bearish, you want to see us essentially lose 592. If 592 fails us, we're looking for 590, then 588 is our targets. I presume the most likely case is that we dip just a bit to 594 and then we rebound and we make our way up to about 598. And I think that's going to hold up very, very nicely. That's the most likely, case based off technicals. I know I can't account for the news because I'm recording this before the weekend. It's a little unfortunate, but I have to do what I have to do for family. And just know that I try to be unbiased when I make these videos nonetheless. So if not SPY, ES loses 59.80, we're looking for 59.56 as our support down here. If we continue to break out, we're looking for 6,000 as resistance. If that breaks, we're looking for 6,020. This looks more bullish as we have a nice accumulation. This could dip and continue to squeeze. We're looking for this attempt to get back up to 6,020 as the most likely case. For other factors out there, we have Nvda. Nvidia has a bearish divergence that is formed. It does look a little bit more bearish here. We need to reclaim 144 to turn back up. I presume it might dip closer to 140 to 138 in this range down here. Dip a little bit before it tries to bounce back up to 144. So look for a small dip, then a bounce as the most likely cases. For Bitcoin's on a very, very nice uptrend right here. I think that we could dip a bit for like, just a little bit before it tries to push for that 100,000 target. Once we hit 100,000, we'll have to see what kind of reaction we get. There is a risk of it getting a small dip back down to 96,000 or even 93,000 because it's a very, very psychological level and there might be a lot of profit taking up there. So look for 100,000 to be tested. We'll see, excuse me, we'll see what kind of reaction we get. Just keep that in mind. For others out there, we have Tesla. Tesla's looking more bullish as long as you don't lose 350. If we lose 350, we're looking for 340 as our main support. But as long as we're above that, I think that this will kind of dip a bit and start pushing. And we're going to be on our way up for about 362 as our potential target. For NQ, it's looking more bullish. As long as we break 20,900, we're looking for 21,000 as our potential target as well up here. So it might dip and start pushing for 20,900, eventually 21,000. For the QQQ, we look more bullish. We could be pushing a little bit higher as well, as long as we don't lose 504 or so. This will continue to push back up for about 508. So look and see if we hold up at 506, and then we're looking for 508 as our target. Apple's looking more bullish. We have 232 as our potential target as long as we break 230. So I see potential in this chart as well. Looking at Netflix, Netflix is doing a good job, but just know that we have a tough resistance that's forming at this 900 area. So because it's a tough resistance, we might shuffle for a bit, then maybe dip a little bit and make our way back down to about 888. There might be a small dip coming to Netflix, so just keep that in mind. MSTR looks decent right here. There's a chance it dips a little bit lower, closer to about the 400 area before it tries to rebound. It had a high here, came down, maybe making a lower high. So unless we break that high, the odds do favor us dipping closer to 400 again. So we'll have to see how it holds up. For the IWM Russell 2000, we look very bullish. We're looking for 240 as our target, if not 242. For AMD, we're looking decent. This could attempt to rebound as long as we hold above 138. We're looking for essentially 140. For coin, we're looking more bullish. As long as we break past 307, we're looking for 320. For Amazon, it's looking weaker compared to the market. We need to reclaim 200 to turn back up. Otherwise, this is at risk of dipping down to 196 and 194. For Meta is looking a little bit like in the middle. I think it might attempt to retest 562. If we get a rejection off that, it might kind of push here to these EMAs before it starts dipping back down to 555. It's on a bit of a downtrend here, so it might push a bit and start dipping lower, but the chart does look a little bit bearish. So it might try to push for 560 or so, maybe a little bit above that before it starts to reject. It makes its way down to 555, which if that doesn't hold, we're dipping all the way down to 552. For Microsoft, we look more bullish on the 4-hour time frame. If we break past 418, we're looking for essentially 420. And if we end up losing 416, we're going to be dipping back down. I think Microsoft will test 418, if not a little bit above that. We'll see if we get a rejection or not because the trend is weak. We had a high here. We came down, made a lower high, came down, made a lower high again. So we could be making a lower high. We need to break these highs here to turn back to bullish. If not, we could be making a lower high than rejecting. So just keep that in mind. For Google, we're making lower highs here, so it might attempt to rebound to 168. We'll see if we get a rejection, start dipping down to 164. So keep that in mind as well. With that being said, when you look at the VIX, my VIX chart's right here. The VIX has been dipping a bit. We could be on our way down to fill this gap down here around the 14 area, which makes me presume the market may push a little bit more. So just keep that in mind, guys. That's what this is looking like, at least thus far. We have not been able to fully fill this gap up here. Instead, we're going to likely be coming down to fill this lower gap as the VIX is showing some weakness. But anyways, I thank you all so much for listening. Hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend. This is just a quick analysis of what I see. Once again, guys, I can't really account for the news because I'm not going to be available during the weekend to actually record videos due to a family emergency. So I just wish you all the best. Please remember to enjoy life for what it has to offer. And I'll be back very soon on Monday in real time to give you guys another updated update. So I thank you all so much for listening. Please have a great rest of your day and peace out.